Hi, everybody. It is Suicide Prevention Saturday. Tonight, we have special guest stars, Tony and Dean. Ta-da! For those of you who don't know, that is Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And no, they're not really guests on the show tonight. However, Suicide Prevention Saturday would not be likely without Dean and Tony. Why? Well, because I started following Tony back in 1991-ish. And he talks about life and how we look at life and how we deal with life and ways to make our lives better and that sort of stuff. So, Suicide Prevention Saturday. Why are we all here? Because 2, every 3 deaths you hear about in the media regarding firearms are suicides. So if 2 out of 3, that'd be 60% or 66.666% of a problem is the same thing, then shouldn't we be focusing on suicide and mental health, suicide prevention and mental health? And bonus here, for those of you watching, you already know what I'm about to say, but when we look at the mental health crisis that we have here in America, and we actually address the mental health issues that people have, not only do we save lives on the suicidal portion of things, it also helps to reduce violence. Now, what else helps to reduce violence? Well, a good economy reduces violence. Throughout the history of time where they've focused on violent crime, they can tell you that when the economy is good, crime is low. When the economy is bad, crime is high. So we can't fix everything all the time, but my goal here is in a short little amount of time, 15, 20 minutes a night, a week, since 2018, is perhaps I can give you a nugget of information that may or may not help you. Whether it's having conversations with other people, raising awarenesses of things like this. If you are in crisis, you can call the Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can call 988 simply to get some help. And that help could be help with a friend who's suicidal. It doesn't have to be you. 211 locally, which is where 988 usually feeds into, just so we're clear. But 988 is now officially the national thing. Although my friends over there who helped set that up said that they still have to fight for funding from time to time, the whole 988 thing. So just so you know, if you're having a hard time, if you can't pay your bills, 988 and 211 will actually help you with that. And you can say, hey, I can't pay my electric bill because I don't know about y'all where you live, but here in Connecticut, my electric bill is insane. So just so you guys know, the crisis lines are all sorts of crises, not just mental health. All right, so with that, I have successfully hidden the comments because, of course, you know who is standing around waiting for me to talk to him. No, not really. Mr. DJ Play Nice is here with us so that he can welcome everyone in. Shows on my YouTube thingy that about 11 folks are watching right now. So if you haven't already said hi, say hi so Mr. DJ here can call you out. If you have already said hi, he's about to call you out in just a few moments as he strolls through there. DJ, when you're ready, you are welcome to come back on and say hello to everyone. All right.
That'd be now if you want to bring me back.
Now, okay. Then I throw you back up here. Go ahead.
All right. Starting off this evening, G-Webs was out there first. Mike White was not far behind. Michael Bellinger is out there this evening, so is Sorry a Fan 93. We got the Krabby Turtle along with Chasing Ghosts. Chris Brancato, Hillbilly Up is out there as well. And as that brings me down to the bottom, we definitely have a few people out there who haven't made themselves known in the text chat. If you want to be shouted out, just put it down in there. Back to you, bro.
All righty then. Well, thank you very much. And gentlemen, for those of you who have spawn, I mean children, by all means, happy almost Father's Day. Tomorrow is Father's Day, all official. Like it is the 1, 2, 3. Was it? It's always the third Sunday. I think it's always the third Sunday, because for the past, I don't know, maybe a full 15 years this year, we have been going to a competition every Father's Day because it's the competition that only my husband shoots in because I don't do revolvers. And we go to an I-Corps competition every Father's Day. So my children's youngest pictures at Father's Day are them at the range watching their dad shoot. Now, for that Father's Day, we totally brought brownies, which are my husband's favorite food. Like, he doesn't get birthday cake on his birthday, he gets brownies. And then we brought shrimp cocktail. Now, we have a wonderfully fun story about Father's Day, which is we did this every Father's Day. And one day, this gentleman shows up, and it's first time going to an I-Corps match. And I-Corps, for those of you who don't know, the competition is International Confederate of Revolver Enthusiasts, I-Corps. And it was his first match, and it happened to be Father's Day. And he said he kept coming back because he thought it was so amazing that you had brownies and shrimp cocktail at a match. So we got one new person to stay at I-Corps just because it was Father's Day. All right, for those of you who checked out the description and are here because you want to hear about Tony and Dean, let me tell you. So on a pretty much annual basis, Tony and Dean do some form of free training for people. Now, back when I was in my 20s, I had my husband actually. Tony's actually slightly responsible for my husband and I celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary this year, because at the time in the 90s, DVDs, CDs, tapes, those things. I know some of you are probably too young to know these things, but most of us here know. Tony Robbins had a CD set, and it was the 30 Days of Personal Power or something along those lines. And my husband bought it for me. Now, 2 college kids, my husband spending, I think it was like $300 on that CD set, or $200, something that was outrageous to a college kid, whatever it was. And that was one of the gifts he ever gave me. So my family and I have been following Dean and Tony and for quite some time. So why do we want to talk about Dean and Tony? Well, one, you can go to this replay of thegamehachangedevent.com and you can absolutely watch day 1, 2, and 3 for free. Now, to be fair, each one of those days is 2 to 3 hours long. My goal in the next 10 or 15 minutes is to give you a nugget of what you could possibly find there. The short version is mental health, right? Why are we here? Well, because we want to find some little thing that changes some little thing that makes a big change over time. One of the biggest lessons, I think, that I want to call it, that Tony talks about and all the people who taught him talk about, is that if we make a 1% change every single day, at the end of 10 days, we have a 10% change. At the end of 20 days, we have a 20% change. So many of us, including myself, if not especially myself, I will look at a project I don't want to do and I won't do it. And I still won't do it. And then one day I will put Herculean effort into getting that thing done, whatever it happens to be. And I burn out and it hurts and it's uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. And I usually don't finish it. However, if we do whatever that project is, let's say dishes or laundry, if we do a little bit every day, we only have a little bit to do every day. If we only do our laundry once a month, we have a mountain of laundry to do once a month. And for those of us who have enough clothes to do that, it's a trap. Don't have that many clothes. But anyway, so taking little steps on time is kind of one of those things. Many of us are focused on things that we want and things that we don't want. Now, in the training that Tony and Dean did, oh, and you know what? I apologize. I've been meaning to actually give you this link should you want to actually see that. So sorry, because I had to go into the chat. G-Webs, I'm going to answer your question. So no, 1, 2, 3, 1 through 3 is 1 through 3. It is a complete set. It was a 3-day challenge or a 3-day event. And I don't know how much each one of them are, but I put on my calendar for 3 hours. And I'm actually still just finishing watching the replay of day number 1. Now, here's the other thing about this. You really do need to go watch it now because they do actually take down these things after a couple days. So like it says at the top, it's up for a limited time. So watch it now. So Sorry. See, this is what happens when I get over here in the comments, because then Duet Pete says something like, I have new clothes delivered every morning that I wear that day and throw them old ones away. Yeah. Saves money on laundry. Yeah, I'm sure that's not exactly how that works. However, that would be weird. I can't imagine. I think that would be sad to have new clothes every single day. But at the same time, like, hey, why not? All right. So the thing about watching the game has changed. Like I said, I think each one is a minimum of 2 hours. So right now, day 1, 2, and 3, you're looking at a minimum of 6 hours for watching that. So let me bring you the shortest possible version of day 1, because I have not gotten any further than that at this point in time. Tony and Dean want everybody to have a better life. And who doesn't want a better life? We all want a better life of some sort or another. Yes? Yes. So everybody say yes. All right. So I have notes for real, because that is the only way I'm staying on track tonight. Oh, actually, I'm going to get off of the comments. So DJ, I know, is watching for me if I need to get to anything. So how do we have a better life? Well, funny thing about that, we actually have to know what better actually means to us. So, for example, I would love to do lots of things. I got a book that I'm writing. I have a course that I need to get done actually within the next 2 weeks to submit to the state, because I submitted it. They're like, hey, you have to make these changes. I have to do that. What else? Eat better, exercise more, be healthy, all of those things. So number one that Dean and Tony talk about is clarifying what you actually want. What do you really truly want? And I'm not sure. I'm guessing that a lot of you have probably heard about SMART goals. And for those of you who don't know, SMART means specific, measurable. I forget what the E is. What the E is. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic with a timetable. That was SMART. So you have to be specific about what you want. One of my favorite things that Tony says is, I want more money. Awesome. If you just said, yes, Brooke, I want more money, I can send you a quarter and you will have more money, because it wasn't specific enough, right? So it needs to be measurable. It's like, okay, I currently make $10 an hour. I want to make $15 an hour, or whatever it is. So you have to be specific about what you want, i.e., I want to lose weight. Well, I know for sure I could definitely be healthier if I lost 60 or 70 pounds. So I know specifically, but then what is my timetable? I could totally do it in a year if I stay focused on that. So number one, create your vision. What is your specific thing that you'd want to get done within the next 6 to 12 months? Number two, here's the thing. Why? Why do you want to do it? Why is this a must, not a should? Because I know I should lose 60 pounds or more in the next 12 months. But why? Because without a why, we don't care. We're not going to keep going. Ballinger's out here. So he's a perfect example of a why. So what is something that he wants to do? He wants to move on and be happy with his life after having that experience of waking up to his best friend dead next to him. And so this fall, he's going on a camping trip to the place where that occurred. And why is he doing that? To help himself heal. So he's got a big stinking why, because that's a big deal. And so not all of us have such a specific, easy why, and you have to think about it. It's like, why will achieving this goal, whatever your SMART goal was, why will it make a difference in your life? You have to understand and feel the truth of what is going to change if you accomplish the thing that you just said is your vision, the thing that you want to do. And then the next question is, what kept you from changing in the past? So let's see. I know my excuses are, I know that I used to lose weight. I know how to lose weight. All of us do. Eat better food, exercise more. It's pretty simple. So what has kept me from changing in the past? Oh, well, I have plenty of excuses. I can rationalize the heck out of why or what's kept me from changing. Like, oh, I'm an emotional eater. Oh, this, oh, that. But really, let's be real. It's just fun to eat junk food. I'm not going to lie. So What needs to change now? So if you can identify what you need to change, and now you have to come up with a why you need to change it now. Because all of us every day wake up having the opportunity to choose what we're going to do today. What are we going to do with the precious time that you and I have on this earth? For those of you who read the good book, God says no day is promised. And so today could be it. Y'all could never see me again. I have no idea. And I'm not saying that to be fatalistic. It's that none of our days are promised. I do not know if I'm waking up tomorrow morning or not. And with that in mind, I need to do the best that I can to be the best person I can for this day, for this moment. So why do I need to change now? Well, running out of time. We all are. And now here is the big part of all of these things. I'm going to sum up real fast. Number one, you need to know what you need to do. What is your SMART goal? What is your vision? What are 2 things you'd like to get done in the next 6 to 12 months? Like I told you, I have 2 weeks, not even to get that new program into the state. I could get the book done within the next 6 to 12 months because I just got to do a lot of editing. Why am I doing this thing? Why? Well, because if I get my stuff into the state and it gets approved, I go on a list, so I get more students. Why do I want to get my book done? Because there's people who've been waiting for many years for me to finish my book. All right, what has kept me from changing in the past? Sometimes it's not the deadline. I didn't actually know I had a July 1st deadline for the other thing. So, and what needs to change now? I have to consistently make choices. And what are 2 action steps that I can do now? One small and one big. So I'm about to leave for training for next week. I will be in the lovely cheesehead state of Wisconsin for most of next week, from Monday through Thursday. So I need to make sure that I bring the stuff I need to edit my course so I can work on that. So I've got to make sure I pack my laptop, bring the hard copies, and print out the things that the Special Licensing Firearms Unit here in Connecticut said I needed to change. Now, what's a bigger thing? Well, I'm kind of doing the bigger thing because I'm telling you all what do I need to do and how am I going to do it. So there is the essence of day 1 of the game has changed. Now, if you are interested in starting your own businesses or taking your business that you currently have and making it better, really what they're ending up talking about is how they educate people on the stuff we just talked about. And when they're educating people on this stuff, they also teach you how to do the same thing they're doing. Now, you and I are probably not going to become a Tony Robbins. However, we could do something. Because as Mr. Pete, aka G Webs, encourages me often, all of us can do a little. None of us have to move mountains, but as long as we're all doing a little bit, that can help. So with that is the beginning. There's another, there we go. Another whole page of notes. We can go through that. DJ, would you like to get me caught up on, is there anyone else in, or are there questions that I need to answer?
Well, you can take a look at Gun Website's last comment because it seems like he's passing the buck just a little bit.
Okay.
And let's see. And Abigail Saoirse Finnegan is out there in the crowd. She's the last one to join the crew.
Okay. Oh, wait. Is this where you're telling me that he is passing the buck? I don't think I was. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know Pete over here at Gun Websites, he hates 9mm. He thinks 45 is the only millimeter that should have ever occurred. And that's sort of true and sort of not true because, everything is fake news after all. So if you want to learn more about Pete and over at Gun Websites, go check out his channel and, talk to him. All right. I don't even know. Stomach shrunk. Well, so Tara's comment is not so awesome. Yeah, when we're sick and we don't eat, our stomachs really do shrink. And that makes it so we can't eat much. But heat exhaustion for 2 weeks, that's too much. And being in the ER, I know we chatted a little while you're in the ER. So On the plus side, you're not in the hospital anymore, so we got that something going for you. Oh, all right. Yeah, sorry. I am still laughing at this comment from gun websites. So, anyway, all right. With that, shall we go on to the second? All right. So, wait a sec. No, DJ, since I have you up here, I know you just muted yourself, but I'm going to make you talk anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So, 5 steps. Create your vision. Know what you want over the next 6 to 12 months. 2, why do you want it? 3, what's kept you from changing in the past? 4, what needs to change now? And 5, what are 2 action steps you can do right now? Small and big. Go.
From like run through all 5 of those? Okay, well, since you read the 5, now you gave me the preview. So one at a time, and I will absolutely take them and I will answer extemporaneously.
All right, ready? So number
1.
Over the next 6 to 12 months, what are 2 goals that you can set for yourself that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic with that timetable of 6 to 12 months?
Reduce the literal bulk of my household goods by at least 40%.
Okay.
And maintain all of my medical appointments for the remainder of the year.
Okay. All right. Why? Why is this a must? Why will you achieve this goal? This is like, I think the why will you achieve the goal is probably even more powerful than what the goal is. So let's talk with.
Is that the second part, or is that the second part of part 1?
That's no. All right. So number 1 was create your vision. What do you need to get done
Right.
in the next 6 to 12 months? Number 2 is why.
Well, the why is kind of a compound answer for each one of those, but I'll go with the medical appointments because that one's kind of the easiest. And the why is because a couple different things. I continue to keep a record of my health with someone. I continue to get refills on my medications, and I do get to continue to interact with a physician, 1, 2, or more than that, right? Who are working on working on my behalf, efforting towards my health. And so it's kind of the responsible thing to do on top of all that. And it makes sure that I keep on the positive side of any of those. You missed an appointment. We can't see you for another 3 weeks, or we're sorry, we can't do a refill until you come into the office and see us, and we're closed for the next 3.5 weeks or something like that, right?
And with that sort of goes on to number 3 or 4, which, what needs to change now. So has that happened in the past where you've missed appointments and then you can't get refills, and so then that sucks?
Oh, all of those things were taken from real life. Yes, indeed, they were. Yeah, I'm a little predictable that way anyhow, for those that know me well. Yeah, making late day appointments is really good for me, but keeping them sometimes is not all that easy. So,
I understand. Just like I said, I had a hard time. I think this was in the pre-chat, but I'm like, for real, I forgot today was Saturday. I'm totally feeling like today is still Friday because it's been a lot of work without much break. And then but then I know tomorrow's Father's Day. But when I'm done with you guys here, I have to go bake some brownies. So, because we have to have the brownies and the shrimp cocktail. All right.
A dynamite combo for sure. Well, so the second part was, did I go through the second part with you?
Yeah. So number 1 was create your vision. What are the things you need to get done in the next 6 to 12 months? Number 2 was why. Why is it important? Why will you achieve this goal? And so the second part was making sure that you get your refills so that you get your appointments when they are promised to you. But then the next part is sort of like, well, it depends on what your why was or what your thing was, because it says what's kept you from doing that in the past. So is something changing so that you can do this? That's why I was asking the question of, have you missed them in the past? So the answer to that was yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I most definitely have. Yeah, that's kind of me to miss things.
4 was what needs to change to make sure that you actually get your appointments or you actually make it there.
Well, okay, here's how bad I am at this, because somebody might say, well, hey, just put an extra reminder in your calendar. Well, guess what? There's one the morning of, and remember, I don't take appointments unless they're in the afternoon. So in my calendar, there's an AM of day appointment. In the PM of the previous day, there's a calendar reminder that goes off twice to let me know that I have an appointment the next day and what time it is. The day before that, that's 2 days before the appointment, I get 2 reminders. So 2, 1, and 1 should get me there, right? No, doesn't always do it. So what have I added, or what could I add, I guess? I used
Right.
to have this thing where I would have a friend call me to ensure that I was up and out of bed as well. But I
Yeah.
don't keep my ringers on my phones anymore, and I don't have a landline. So that
Uh,
one's kind of out of the picture. I'm
all
not
right.
going to have the neighbor come and bang on my door. I'm not sure what to add for that. So how about at each one of these providers, I will see if they will give me a reminder call the day before or the day of.
All right.
That sounds
Very
good.
sure. And that can count as number 5 because the number 5 was what are your action steps? So when you see the providers or before you see the providers, you can call and find out if they have that available for you.
Woohoo! Go me.
There you go. Ta-da! Just like that. And voila! DJ now has better ability to keep track of his appointments. And goodness knows I'm laughing because you're like talking about how you've got the reminders ahead of time. And then my problem is I have everything on my calendar. My problem is I forget to even look at my calendar. Hence the reason I didn't even know what day it was today. So if that makes you feel any better or worse, I have no idea.
Oh, come on. I can totally relate to that. And I'm pretty sure that everybody out there in the chat probably can relate to, being in the middle of something in the morning, be just like, wait, what day is this? I mean, I say that sometimes. And on a
Yeah.
Saturday, get up on a Saturday, wait, did I sleep through something? Sort of deal, and the classic one when you're a kid, getting
Oh,
up and thinking
or
you have
when
to go
it's
to school
winter
on
time
Saturday.
and you fall asleep and you think you took a nap, but you wake up and it's dark and you can't tell if it's late or early.
Hmm.
The darkness is so much longer. So, well, Mr. Tactical has dropped in as well as DM Foss. Nice to see you guys. Um, and I just took DJ's job away from him. I hope you're all right, DJ. Are you all right? I don't want to cause trauma.
I think I'll make it. I'll
Okay,
make it.
that's good. We prefer that
But I
you
gotta
make it.
go away for a second. I'm gonna go.
Okay. All right. Goodbye. Oh wow, he like went away. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna try to go through this super fast, which is how do you really make changes? And here's the deal. DJ and I just went blah 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 about what stuff is or how we could do stuff, right? And so for him, we're talking medical and following through on all stuff and making your appointments. And like I said, for real, I'll forget what day it is because I don't look at my stinking calendar, even though I live by my calendar. It's kind of weird and sad all at the same time. So, how do we really make these changes? And we went through the tactical of, well, here are the things to do. But now, Tony Robbins is a king of state change in that he is mentored, he is coached, he is called on by world leaders to change their state on so many different levels. And one of the things that I've learned when working with him for all of this time, because it's literally been decades, and for the last decade, I've also been working with Dean and listening to his stuff as well. And really and truly, the way we make real lasting change has nothing to do with the conversation that you and I just had. So, to make real change, here are the 3 S's that make your change. Strategy. DJ and I kind of ended on that. It's like, well, how are you going to do that? What are you going to do? And most of us think our change is going to come when we figure out how we're going to do the thing. According to Tony, that's actually the least likely way we're actually going to make a change. What's the other thing? The story. As DJ and I were talking, I don't know if you guys caught this, but he has his story. I have my story about I have all my stuff on the calendar, but I don't look at it. So because I don't do that, and if I tell myself the same thing over and over a long enough time and say, well, I've got it, but I don't look at it. I've got it, but I don't look at it. There was a gentleman who said, tell a lie big enough, loud enough, and long enough, and it will become your truth. Do y'all know who I'm quoting? Well, I think I can't say his name because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, let me know and I'll leave it in the chat later. For those of you who do know, good job knowing your history. So big enough, loud enough, long enough. And the longer we tell ourselves this, like, ooh, I don't know what day it is, even though I look at my calendar, then that becomes my reality because I've told myself that story over and over again. So strategy is the how are we going to do it? Oh, I'm going to put it in my calendar. But then if I tell my story of I don't know because I don't look at my calendar enough, then my strategy kind of sucks. So the number one thing you and I have to do to actually make a difference is our state of mind, our state of being, our physiology, all of these things. So of the most important things to make a change, the thing that we have to pay attention to the most is our mental state, our physiology. But all right, so our mental state is the way Tony was explaining it on The Game Has Changed. You know, that first time you had a really serious crush, your little heart goes like in the cartoons where the heart just beating out of the body, thump, 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 right? So that infatuation where whoever that is, whether it's guy, girl, for me, as a child, it's like, oh, I got a horse today. No, I never had a horse, but I always wanted one. So anyway, that excitement of, oh, this is about to happen. Well, when we first fall in love with someone and they say, will you take out the garbage? Yes, honey, where would you like me to take it? I'd love to take the garbage out for you. Because you're so infatuated, you have that excitement. And now 5 or 10 years later, the same thing happens. You're like, garbage? Okay, maybe sometime, don't know. So that state of super excitement and, oh my gosh, I love this person and I have all those endorphins flowing and everything is spectacular and they can't do anything wrong, versus that time that person that you've been knowing for all of this time finally says something. And not only do you remember the thing that they just did wrong now, but the thing that they've done wrong over the past 10 years. So our mental state, and how do we affect this? Well, number one, pay attention. Realize you have a choice of what's going on in here. Now, are there times when you don't so much? Kind of, sort of. But your physical state can change your mental state. So if you haven't noticed, as I was talking about state, what did I do? I started using my hands. I'm using my whole body. That's kind of it. So in order to get our state in a great state, getting our mind in a great state, we need to get our bodies in a state. So I know y'all, I don't know where you're all, I don't know if you're sitting down, standing up, driving. Tara, I always expect is driving, but shoulders back, chin up. These are things I just teach in class anyway. And if you stand up and you put your hands on your hips while you do this and you smile, one of the things, if you watch The Game Has Changed, 2 minutes of doing this. I'm not going to stand up right now because my camera would just, no, we're not doing that. Anyway, if you stand up with your shoulders back, hands on hips, 2 minutes a day, it actually raises your testosterone. It lowers your cortisol, your stress level. And if while you're doing this, you smile, it also increases your ability to take risks by up to 33%. So just because you put a smile on your face, even if you're faking it till you want to make it, it's physically making a change in your body. Now, from time to time, for those who have been here on and off, all you have to do, big breath in, big breath out. Most of us spend most of the day breathing very shallowly, which means that we create stress because we don't have quite enough oxygen. But that physiological change of shoulders back, head up, hands on hips, 2 minutes a day, just to help. It's easier than meditation. And like I've taught you guys before, if you take that breath in, let it out, that natural pause between your out breath and your back in breath, if you pay attention to that, that's a mini meditation. So that's super easy as well, and even shorter than 2 minutes of the hero pose. So anyway, the whole goal here is next time you want to create some goals, figure out what you want to do, change your life, make sure that you're aware of the 3 S's: your state, your story, and your strategy. So if your state is garbage, you're probably not going to be very good at telling a better story that will help you get to your strategy. One of the other things Tony talks about is that the super, super successful people, 80% of their success is based on emotion, mindset, and physiology. Only 20% is based on that strategy of how they got the thing done. So that is it. That is my short version of 3 hours, I think, that I've watched so far of probably the 9 hours of Tony and Dean on The Game Has Changed. So I'm going to grab the link one more time for those of you who just got in here so that y'all can check that out if you'd like. For those of you who have never watched Dean or Tony, it's usually pretty fun. They've got a whole bunch of other guests on there as well. It's not just the Tony and Dean show, because they want to give you examples of people who went from nothing to more than they had, and then the people who went really crazy and went ballistic. So be aware of your story. If you are like me and you know you need to lose weight, but you keep telling yourself, well, I can't because I'm an emotional eater and I haven't figured out how to take care of my emotions yet, so I'm just going to eat junk food. And the fact that junk food is just kind of fun and easy and cheap and all of those things. Tell yourself a better story of, oh, I am worth the time and the effort it takes to put good food into my body, and change your story. But first you have to be aware of what your story is. And if you got your physiology in, do that superhero pose 2 minutes a day. That's it. We're not talking about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's just 2 minutes. I double dog dare y'all to try it. Then make sure you're aware of the story you're telling, and how to do it proper like will then come up. All right. So all right. So Abigail, I need to get better at compartmentalizing tasks to manage my ADHD. So that's awesome. I mean, not ADHD necessarily, but that's your vision, right? You get to decide, what do I need to do? Well, then the next part we'll walk through is, in the next 6 to 12 months, what changes do you need to make to get better at compartmentalizing your tasks? For me, I know I love having a checklist. Hence the reason I actually have notes tonight to try to stay on track while I'm talking to you guys. And then the next part of that is why. Why do you want to do that? What is going to give you the benefit that's going to get you excited? Now, before you answer the 1 through 5 questions, make sure your state is spectacular. Make sure you understand your story, because you're really building your story when you're talking about your why. And then Surya Fan, need to work on getting driver's license. And you just got attempts last month. I don't remember where you live, hun, but he, her, yeah, that's right. I called you a girl last time too. My bad. I don't know where you live. Although I call guys huns too. Anywho, my point is, driver's license. Here in Connecticut, you have to have it for at least 6 months before you can get your regular one. So unfortunately, you can't speed up time unless you have one of those machines. But if there's anything else you can do, like get your hours in, because I know here in Connecticut, you have to have 40 hours of driving before you get your real one. So, but, sorry, this is what happens when I look at Chasing Ghosts, getting yelled at, not really yelling, but more, and kind of growling at each other. After 2 decades, we don't really yell. Yeah, well, there's that. And congrats on 2 decades. Good job. And yes, you do need to sleep more than 3 to 4 hours a night. Okay. Well, DJ really left us, as far as I can tell, because he just went gray. So with that, I will do my best to, oh yeah, I guess oh no, he is there. Ta-da! All right. Well, you were gray, and I'm like, he's gone. So anyhow. All right, sir, are you ready to say goodnight to everybody?
Yeah, I pulled myself together. I went gray there for a second, but I'm back in brilliant black and white on your screen, as you can see it. So this evening we are joined by G-Webs, Mike White. Mike Ballinger was here as well. So was Staria Fan 93. Krabby Turtle was out there. Chasing Ghost as well. Chris Brancato. We got Hillbilly Up joining for a bit there. Abigail Sersha Finnegan is out there. Ghost Tactical dropped in for a second. DM Foss is out there. Check it out. Coming into the very back side of the chat, we got JH586. Thanks for stopping by, Jamie.
I know, Jamie. You are the most adorable pastor I know. So anyway, we are just saying goodnight, sir. You're going to have to catch the replay if you'd like to, because I know I always catch you on replay, because at the beginning of this one, we were just talking about how I don't know if it's Friday or Saturday. So for me, I watch Jamie over on his channel, usually on Saturdays, thinking that it's Friday and not understanding why I missed the live. So
it's the kind of exception we can make for our friends, right? the replay crew is a thing, but you really have to go back and listen when you say, well, I'll go back and I'll check it out.
Yes,
Kind of thing.
yes.
So make sure you do.
Oh,
And leave comments.
ooh, yes. So everybody who is here, Jamie already knows, Ian Foss probably knows. If you are into scopes, you must at the top of this hour. So it's 9 o'clock here, so 10 o'clock Eastern time, and y'all do your time changes for wherever you're at. At 10 o'clock tonight is the Hillbilly Up show. And he's doing a collab with Moondog Go, and they're giving away this spectacular scope. Now, of course, I'm not organized enough that I have the stuff. So, DJ, do you happen to know where that is?
Well, hold on. I'm just sitting here typing something to Mark Thomas, who's just jumped in. So, like, where am I supposed to, what link you want a link?
No. Here, you talk and say things. I'm going to go look for the link so I can drop that just before we go.
I'm much better digging out the links and stuff. So I'm digging out a link for what?
But I got the email. I just have to go to the Hillbilly sent. So I gotta go grab that. So,
all right. So then I will say hello to Mark Thomas, and I will actually give him a minor ribbing because I know Mark's profession, and of all the people that I expect to show up on time for things and not be tardy, it's Mr. Thomas. Let's see, for the rest of the weekend, I hope that everybody is going to be able to have a conversation or think about their fathers tomorrow. It's a Father's Day sort of thing. I think we all have one. And I will be doing something that I don't usually do. And it's going to be based on somebody who made my day. Now, I know that we usually do that on Hillbilly's show. That's coming up next, but I'm giving you a preview. So I met with one of my best high school friends for a concert earlier this week. And I told him that I was going to be doing this show. He knows that I do the show, but I said, we've had a couple of weeks in a row there where Brooke has come up with a topic, and I wanted to come up with some. And we've been talking about our parents, and both of his are still living, but they're both quite a bit older than my parents. And now that my friend and I are in our 50s, and he's a father and I am not, I said, well, what do you got for Father's Day? That's going to be coming up. And if it's not, specifically about fathers, maybe it'll just be about family. And I'd always known that my friend was quite proud of his father, but he never really said anything specific about it. Just that he had confidence in him when we were growing up, that I knew that his father was always there. Both of his parents were. And he's also from sort of a big family of all boys. And through the years, I've heard more and more examples through community, through my mother, who's still a part of that community, through Jay himself, but never specifically praising his dad for, more than being around, being present sort of thing. And given the opportunity, it was about an hour before he stopped. And DJ, like he's going on now, could go for over an hour on something a lot more simple than a relationship as complex as one with your father. So, like I say, I think we all have one. If you're able to reach out, please do. If not, spend some time in thought. Maybe say something to someone that is a father. I myself am not one, so almost everybody that I know who's a dad is going to get a happy Father's Day to you from me. So that's kind of what I got on the way out the door.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much. For those of you who just popped in real quick, I just dropped a bunch of links, at least on the YouTube side, because it won't let me put them on the Facebook side for whatever reason. I got some kind of warning because, I like getting warnings. So if you're on Facebook, by all means, hop over to A Great Start Shooting School. But Moondog, Go, and Hillbilly are doing a thing where the drawing is going to be on tonight. So if you can, real fast, go to any one of those links. It will explain to you how to get in. But basically, Moondog and Hillbilly are just trying to get people to sub. And guess what? My channel is one of the ones that's actually part of there. So with that, DJ, thank you for Father's Day. Father's Day story. I know on the radio and stuff they were talking about Father's Day and like what's a fun story about your dad. And I'm like, well, honestly, at his funeral, the lady who made the cake was hysterical because it was literally a green cake with little headstones all over it of all of his friends who died before him. And it said, "We're waiting for you, Tim," on the cake. and I just thought that was hysterical. So
That is. That's really amusing. It's got the right amount of dark in it. I really like that. And I'm sure a lot of the people who gathered that day did as well. And
well,
I'm going to jump on that as well, me too, because there's a comment on your screen from Sorry Fan 93.
yeah,
You're a cat dad, and that does count.
yes.
And so
I did say
happy Father's Day
spawn.
to you. Sorry Fan 93. Go ahead.
Yes, I did say spawn or children. So yeah, it's all relative. It is what it is. You know. So there are all those things. But yeah, so yeah, all the dad stories with my father were fast cars, fast women, and large explosions. So it was always fun, entertaining at least. So, all right. Well, I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening to DJ and I continue on. This is going to be one of G23's favorites because it's more than 20 minutes. It's a whole 45. So with that, I'm sure Hillbilly's already gone. Please go check him out top of the hour. And I will see you all next week. Please like, subscribe, share, because I love reaching you guys and I would love to be able to reach even more if I can. But you guys are enough. And I appreciate you for showing up every Saturday. And let DJ take it out as he normally does.
All right, everybody. This weekend, what remains of it, be safe. The rest of the week that's upcoming, have fun. Take care of your crew all the time. And rock, we're out.